This is a follow-up to a tree that I started training last year. It's a very, very small leafed elm. Had some very weird and interesting branch configuration, so I just went with it rather than try and force it into a more conventional look. And I wired it. Got a bunch of wire scarring because I didn't pay attention to it. This is definitely worth propagating again, so I'll save the cuttings. What I'll do is my standard, any branches that are shooting straight up, too thick, in the wrong spot, we'll remove them, leave buds pointing in a direction that we want the growth to go, and I'm not going to be lazy with my unwiring on this. I'm going to use the Japanese style wire cutters. They're much better for this kind of work. You can place the wire cutter right up to the bark. You don't have to worry about damaging the bark. If I used an American style wire cutter, which are far more pointed, I would probably scrape the bark. I can still do damage. Just takes a little more effort or a little more carelessness to damage the tree. But you can do it. So don't feel invincible because you're using the wire cutters with the rounded nose. And you can see, at least I can see, where the wire was biting in, and up here it is particularly bad. I'm sure you can see how it has swelled up around the wire. We always say the wire is digging in, when I think it's probably more accurate to say that the tree is swelling up to surround the wire. You really don't want your tree looking like it's growing through a chain link fence. Now, I may have to switch to unwinding here because those scars are so deep that I can't get the wire cutter in there, so I have to be careful. This is super weak now, so I run the risk of snapping that off. I just may eliminate it because I have enough branches behind it that I could easily replace it. The question is, do I have the patience? That really is what it boils down to, because it's a matter of time to either allow the new branches to come in or the old wire scar to fill in. I'm not sure what direction I want to go. Little trick up here my instructor and I've seen many artists use, where you want to create a new apex, but you also want a back branch at the same time, so they'll wire up a shoot and then bend it where a bud can become the apex or a little twig, and then bring the other half down as a branch. So we're kind of deep in here. Oh, that one came out. Alright, so now we need to clean this up and make some decisions. Okay, Don't need that right there. Might keep that as a fattener. This is doing me nothing. That one's in an interesting spot. This one is plenty thick for the height of the tree, so we'll basically shear him back and let him open all those dormant buds. Now this branch, really I don't know if I need this branch, but right now I want it. And it amuses me. That one's shooting straight down. This area up here is thick enough. It looks dead. Don't really need to thicken that branch. Not sure where I'm going with that. Not sure about that. This may become a really important back branch, so if it's not brown and crunchy, I'm going to wire it in position. And when I come up here, that faux back branch has accomplished what I needed, so I can remove that. That's too long and too close to the trunk. That's too thick. Alright, so now I have this crazy wire scarred branch back here, and I have a little one right above it. So the question is, do I cut this off and let that little one take over? He's in a decent spot. He's a much better... I'm going to leave him for the time being and reduce this, and we'll see if that little guy makes it through the year. If he does, then I'll promote him and eliminate the wire scarred branch. I always like to have backup branches. Much easier for me to cut than it is for me to graft. I'm not the world's greatest grafter. Got lucky once, have not done it again. Alright, so we'll take a look at the roots. That's the snow sliding off the greenhouse. And what do we have going on here? Looking for some slugs. Hopefully no more grubs. Root mealybug right there. Root mealybug right there. Probably root mealybug there. So that means gotta get my certified pesticide applicator to come in here and give me a spraying, which I need to do anyway because the USDA requires certain treatments on plants before you're allowed to ship them. So what I think I'm going to do today, I'm going to raise him up a little bit and expose some of these surface roots so they start to harden off for me, and give it a little more root run. A little woods violet hiding in there. Alright, so I think the roots hit the edge of the container and started making laps around. So I'm going to cut the circling roots, and I just may make some root cuttings, because I definitely want to set the cuttings on this. I like my root cuttings. They always give me something a little unusual to work with. So here's where the root mealybugs were chilling out. So we'll wipe that out. And then I'm gonna give it a layer of soil. Soilless media, I know. If I'd mixed up some Super Thrive, I'd put that on it too, but I didn't mix any up yet today, so we'll hit him maybe a week or two, I don't know. The temperature in this part of the greenhouse is very cool, so I don't see him pushing foliage and getting ready to break dormancy just yet. So I can put the Super Thrive in, but I don't think it will do a whole hell of a lot if the roots aren't moving. I'm at the point now where the warm part of the greenhouse is really in need of watering twice a week. The cool part of the greenhouse is still every 1 to 2 weeks. And with this weather, I really haven't had to do much of anything in the back. Check the occasional small container, my super tiny elms I have to stay on top of. Boxwoods I have to stay on top of. Alright, so there's my funky small-leafed elm. I know this branch is wrong, but I love it. That branch bothers me, and then I have a couple potential new back branches to take over. I'm pretty sure I don't want to scratch it. I can't tell. It might be toasty. Yeah, it's pretty toasty. Yep. Oh well. False alarm. But we have enough potential buds hiding in here that someone will pop out and I'll take advantage of them. Alright, so this is the usual do you like, comment, question, subscribe, tell your friends part of the video. And then the most important thing is for you to go work on your trees. So, go have fun.